The ingredients for this recipe are 16 ounces of full-fat cream cheese, 1/2 cup of full-fat Greek yogurt, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 3 tablespoons of Hershey's cocoa, and I like to use the special dark cocoa. It tastes the best. We're going to be using 1 whole egg and 2 egg yolks, 1/2 teaspoon of peppermint extract, a pinch of salt, and for the crust we're going to be using 10 of these candy cane JoJo sandwich cookies all crushed up, plus 1 tablespoon of melted butter. The toppings at the end are going to be a ganache drizzle that is made with 1/3 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips and 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream, and then we're going to finish off the cheesecake with some crushed candy cane. Now we're not going to use the crushed candy cane until the very end after the chilling of the cheesecake, but since I didn't want to have to wash my blender twice, I decided to go ahead and do it first before I crushed up the JoJo's for the crust. I'm crushing up 10 of these peppermint sandwich cookies, and that'll make about a cup of cookie crumbs, and I'm going to be mixing those with 1 tablespoon of melted butter. For this cheesecake, I'm using a 6-inch round push bottom pan, and in the bottom I have put a parchment paper liner that'll make it really easy to remove from the pan when the cooking is done. To prepare the pan, I am just greasing the sides with a little bit of butter. Now it's time to add the crust mixture. Press it down in the pan firmly and evenly until you have a nice disc of crust on the bottom of your pan. When you have it all pressed down and flat, go ahead and put your pan into the freezer to chill while you make your filling. One of the most important tips to remember when you are making a cheesecake is to get your cream cheese to room temperature before you start mixing up your filling. You should be able to very easily stir it with a spoon. If you cannot easily stir it with a spoon, you can put it in the microwave for 10-second intervals, stirring after each interval until it is very easy to stir. Once you have your cream cheese smooth and lump-free, you can go ahead and add in the Greek yogurt, the peppermint extract, the cocoa, the granulated sugar, and the pinch of salt. Stir until the mixture is smooth and free of any lumps. This is the time to really get it mixed and lump-free. You do not want to mix heavily after you add in the eggs, so right now it's very important to get it as smooth and creamy as possible and get rid of any lumps. Now add in the 2 egg yolks and the 1 whole egg. Add them in one at a time and stir very gently after each addition. Stir just long enough to get the eggs mixed in, but do not beat the mixture. Now grab the crust out of the freezer and go ahead and add your filling to the pan. Get it spread out evenly and tap the pan several times on the counter in order to remove any air bubbles. Cover the pan tightly with foil and this cheesecake is ready to bake. Add 1.5 cups of water to the inner pot. Place the cheesecake onto your handled trivet and lower it down into the inner pot. Lock the lid, make sure that the valve is set to the sealing position, and the cook time for this recipe is 45 minutes at low pressure. This is going to give you a really creamy cheesecake. If you want a denser cheesecake, go ahead and increase the pressure to high. When the cook time is finished, allow the pressure to release naturally for 10 minutes before quick releasing the rest of the pressure and opening up the lid. Allow the cheesecake to sit uncovered on the counter for about 1 hour to cool, and you'll notice that the middle of the cheesecake looks like it's undercooked, but as it sits and cools, it'll continue to cook and the color will become more uniform. After cooling for an hour, cover it again with the foil and transfer it to the fridge for chilling. Chill the cheesecake for at least 8 hours, but you're going to get the best results if you chill for 18 to 24 hours. While the cheesecake is chilling, you can go ahead and get your ganache topping ready. Add 1/3 of a cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips to a little bowl. Add 3 tablespoons of heavy whipping cream. And all you're going to do is microwave this for about 30 seconds until the chocolate chips are melted and you're able to stir it until they're smooth. Now I'm going to show you how not to remove a cheesecake from the pan. I got a little bit excited, I guess, and it went flying. Thankfully, it was totally fine and there was no damage. Just try not to do that when you are removing your cheesecake from the pan. I put my ganache topping in a little Ziploc bag and snipped off the corner to try to make some pretty drizzling, but you could just use a spoon or spread it in a single layer over the top. Just before serving, sprinkle the cheesecake with the crushed candy canes. You don't want to do this too far in advance because the candy cane will melt after it's sprinkled onto the cheesecake, so to keep it looking the prettiest, just sprinkle it on right before you serve.